Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is May 2nd, 2024, and we are in the Old Testament book of Isaiah. We're going to read chapter 38 today. A couple things we're going to see in 38. Well, we talked about that typesetting. Here we start in that prose typesetting, and then we see it switch to that poetic. In this case, it's a prayer, so that's another thing that you'll see that poetic typeface used for prayers, songs, psalms, prophecies. And that just lets you know that, hey, you're switching to that more flowery, poetic, metaphorical language, whereas we're going to start in that much more figurative, much more literal language. This section here, one thing to remember as we're reading through the Bible, these ancient writers, chronology isn't necessarily important as important to them as we usually think of it. This section that we're seeing in 38, it's being presented after the Assyrian army has left, but it actually, as you read it and understand the flow of it, it happened before the Assyrian army left. But for our ancient authors, it's no problem for them to finish an idea or a thought and then go back and finish another thought, and then maybe go back and finish another thought, and then continue on from there. So this falls a little bit before Assyria leaves, and we get a more in-depth look at what's going on in Hezekiah, because we saw that he went to the Lord, and this kind of shows us a little more about what happened there. And we said yesterday, you know what, Hezekiah, this is a good example of, hey, when my back's up against the wall, it's really easy to go to God. I got nowhere else to go. But we kind of see here that Hezekiah does that, but there's also a little bit of selfishness that creeps in, and we're going to explore that a little bit. So Hezekiah buys some time. What's some things we did not see last time? Well, God's judgment didn't get reversed, so they're still under God's judgment. God's wrath, it didn't go away. I mean, it departed for a time, but it's still out there. It was still acting, and it's still going to come back. So the prophecy is still in effect. All of Hezekiah did by turning to God, we see here is, okay, well, it's not going to happen in your reign then. You did enough. You did what Ahaz should have done, but I already said that, I'm not honoring that part where the kings are always going to be on the throne. At this point, each king's going to be decided on their own. So congratulations, Hezekiah. You did enough to appease God that, all right, the wrath will depart, but it's still there. It's still hanging over you. And after you're gone, we'll see if your successor is going to follow the same way, which we know he didn't, unfortunately. Looking at the people, the people don't seem to have the same zeal that Hezekiah had. So we want to see that kind of a sense that, this was the king doing what Ahaz should have done, which is saying, God, lean on God, God, help us. Here's our enemies. Trust us. We trust you. We're going to do what you say. That was the Davidic covenant. That was the agreement God had with David of, hey, if the king is in your succession line, if he's trusting in me, you've got nothing to worry about. And Ahaz screwed that up and broke that because he didn't trust God. So now God is working with each king individually, I guess, is the way I'm going to put that. Well, so let's go ahead and we're going to get into Isaiah 38. And that's what we want to see. We want to see Hezekiah, he's leaning on the God, but he's kind of holding back a little bit. Yeah, he got a sign, but he kind of interprets the sign selfishly and not as the king should. Offers a really good prayer, and we're going to see that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and read Isaiah chapter 38. In those days Hezekiah was sick and near death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, went to him and said to him, Thus says the Lord, set your house in order, for you shall die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed to the Lord and said, Remember now, O Lord, I pray, how I have walked before you in truth and with a loyal heart, and have done what is good in your sight. And Hezekiah wept bitterly. And the word of the Lord came to Isaiah, saying, Go and tell Hezekiah, Thus says the Lord, the God of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Surely I will add to your days 15 years. I will deliver you and this city from the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this is the sign to you from the Lord, that the Lord will do these things which he has spoken. Behold, I will bring the shadow on the sundial, which is gone down with the sun in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it had gone down. This is the writing of Hezekiah, king of Judah, when he had been sick and had recovered from his sickness. I said, in the prime of my life, I shall go to the gates of Sheol. I am deprived of the remainder of my years. I said, I shall not see Yah, the Lord, in the land of the living. I shall observe man no more among the inhabitants of the world. My lifespan is gone, taken from me like a shepherd's tent. I have cut off my life like a weaver. He cuts me off from the loom. From day until night you make an end of me. I have considered until morning like a lion, so he breaks all my bones. From day until night you make an end of me. Like a crane or a swallow, so I chattered. I mourned like a dove. My eyes fall from looking forward. Oh Lord, my eyes fail from looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He hath both spoken to me, and he himself has done it. I shall walk carefully all my years in the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So he will restore me and make me live. Indeed, it was for my own peace that I had great bitterness, but you have lovingly delivered my soul from the pit of corruption, for you have cast all my sins behind your back. For Sheol cannot thank you, death cannot praise you. Those who go down to the pit cannot hope for your truth. The living man, he shall praise you, as I do this day. The Father shall make known your truth to the children. The Lord was ready to save me, therefore we will sing my songs with stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. Now Isaiah had said, let him take a lump of figs and apply it as a poultice on the boil, and he shall recover. And Hezekiah had said, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? May God bless the readings of his word, and may God bless you. Bye.